Good morning, everybody. It's HHV, the Judge. It's Saturday, the 8th of July. It's Eclipse Day. Happy Eclipse Day, Judge. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks, mate. Some good racing today. I actually went to the Eclipse last year, but don't say the obvious. It's a bit dark out there, but no, I'm looking forward to the race, actually.
Yeah. I'm not one for big-headed antics, but as you can see, living legend. We landed that dipper yesterday, Judge. I was just
Brilliant.
telling you off air, 7-1. Sweet William and Killian. Now, Killian, of course, the great backstory. Anybody who was with me in May at York, we were told that Killian was Carl Burke's best 2-year-old. Killian was in a maiden at York. At the time, Carl Burke was having 2-year-old winners like left, right, and up the centre. And Killian somewhat flopped, it's fair to say. Killian then went to Carlisle and got done at 3s on. And we started to think, what is this, a morning glory? Was somebody winding us up? He then won an egg and spoon race at Newcastle. And I just thought, I didn't fancy the favourite yesterday. And 11-4, there's some 3-1 available. Well, if you watched the race, I'm sure you did. It was one of the most impressive performances by a 2-year-old I've seen in a long, long time. He got stuck on the rail. He had to bring it right round the whole field. And within a blink of an eye, he'd come from last to first and was halfway down the track. And they were reasonable 2-year-olds. So, of course, the lesson is when you hear horse is good and that, give it a chance, give it time. It may turn out to be as good as they were saying. So those of you who stayed on the Killian train were rewarded. And then Sweet William, the other one, they won by 12 lengths between them. And, of course, the column bet yesterday, Rogue Lightning 8-1 at Donning. What a win. It came flying through. Tom Clover there. So, yeah, we're flying. Now, today, I've been waiting all week for one. It's a platinum bet, my strongest bet. It's a tenner. And I'm going to stand on the side, Judge, and when people buy it, I'm going to throw into the email an HFC LUCKY15 as a bonus. So, big each way. 28-1 shot in there. Get the platinum. It's currently 12-1. And I'll be there. As the email goes out, I will throw in personally at each way LUCKY15. So come and join in the fun. Right, Judge, it is the Eclipse. Now, let's get this out of the way first before we go through the race. One of the great races, the Group 1 over 1 mile and 2, usually get the Derby winner or something like that. It's the first time the 3-year-olds take on the older horses. And we have 4 runners. What is going on, Judge, firstly?
I don't know. I mean, this used to be, this and the King George were like the 2 mid-season races, really, that went through the season, wasn't it? You know, the 2 races that you were most looking forward to in the calendar, really. I'm pleased there is a 3-year-old taking on the older horses. Otherwise, it would be a real disappointing race. At least you have got the generations sort of like taking each other on, which is what the race is for, isn't it? I've no idea really. It's in the right part of the calendar. You can't, you've got enough time after Royal Ascot to have a run as well, haven't you? So
well, all these trainers and owners who have Group 3 horses or who have horses who were down the field in the Derby or ran at Ascot or, are horses, why don't they enter this? And if it cuts up, you've got a chance of sneaking third, haven't you? And a big payday and a huge boost. Why aren't they encouraged to enter these races yet? I just can't believe it. There'll be a big crowd at Sandown, but
definitely.
Dear.
We're going to get to the weather forecast in a minute, so it's just.
Yeah, we are. The old Michael Fish there, the judge, keen to get onto the weather. Now, right, let's go through the race. There's only 4 runners. The market.
It could take a while, so.
Yeah, well, yeah. Is the best price I can find on the Jolly now is 5-6, 9-2 when betting open for this race. It's Paddington, the old marmalade sandwiches. He's 5-6 best price.
I was waiting for that.
Lowers 8 to allow. I have got a joke about pulling out of Paddington, but we'll leave that there. And then we've got Emily Upjohn, best price 7-4. Last seen winning the Coronation Cup. Now, Dubai Honor, we'll come to Dubai Honor. Very, very strange horse to get a handle on. He's 12-1 best price. And the Rag, West Wind Blows at 28 with that man Spencer for the Crisfords. Now, Judge, I'll ask you Well, we might as well actually do this slightly differently and go through this together, each horse. So,
I agree. Yeah.
start with the Rag. What is your view of West Wind Blows with that man Spencer?
Well, for me, this really depends on how much rain they have. I mean, there is, it's like thunderstorms. You could end up not getting any at all, or an absolute bucket loads. I think if there's a lot of rain, this will bring the two outsiders in with a bit more of a squeak. If there isn't much rain at all, I don't think they really have got that much chance. But the rank outsider itself, West Wind Blows, is going to have the run of the race as such, because you can't imagine that Emily Upjohn will be looking to be making the running. And Paddington likes to run prominently, but normally on the front, on the just on the shoulder of the leader, if you like. He's a prominent type. But he's not one that you think would be trying to make the running, as he is going up in trip as well. So I do think Spencer is going to be from the front rather than from behind. And if he could get the fractions right, he could outrun his odds, really. I did actually prefer him to the other horse, because I found the other horse so hard to weigh up, which we'll get to in a minute. But I did actually like the run in the Hardwick behind Pile Driver, because he did get hampered. He was second best on merit. But Pile Driver is a proper, grade 1 horse, especially at 1.5 miles. This horse has got a form over 1.25 miles. He's going to be a thorough stayer at the trip. And if they were to get the extra rain here, he could run well at 25 to 1, mate, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the key question to ask was what somebody sort of said earlier on Twitter, is what price would Pile Driver be here today in this race? Now, that gives you an idea of where West Wind Blows. Actually, I think he'd probably be 3 to 1.
Yeah, and I've got to be honest, at 3 to 1, I would definitely be backing Pile Driver.
And that's the key thing.
Underbetting
Yeah, the key thing. And I don't think West Wind Blows will win. I think, like you, he's probably better value if you're going to play one of the outsiders. I play him at 28 over Dubai Honor, but we'll come to that. But I do think he's going to have a big say in who wins, because if Spencer decides to faff about, get out in the lead, slow it down, you might see the others not settle, or will he blast off? It really is he's a key player in this. The horse has got some good form, but on the book, it would be a huge shock if it can, 14 pounds wrong, really, with a couple of these. So I can't see him winning, but he's going to have and Spencer will know that. He'll be thinking now about how to play this. And I just wonder, we'll come to Ryan Moore and Paddington, if Spencer does start messing around with the pace, whether Moore will have enough and just decide to get on with it himself. But we'll come to that. So interesting outside. He's going to have a key role in this. We'll come to Dubai Honor now. I mean, I'll just look at Dubai Honor's, last runs. Group 1 wins. You look at it on the book, but then you look at this stat, which would just scare the hell out of you if you're going to bet the horse, and that he's had 5 goes at group races in the UK. Nothing, not a squeak. Take him to Australia, America, whatever. He's a Group 1 winning machine. Can they con this horse? Take it to the airport first, Judge. Make it think it's gone abroad.
Well, this horse definitely wants the rain. This is one that will want the softer conditions. But I don't really like these types that. Let's be honest. He wasn't a Grade 1 horse before he went to Australia, was he? His Grade 1 form was well below what's needed to win an Eclipse, in my opinion. I was at the Juddmonte International last year. He was a well-beaten 4th. Well beaten, even Sabuska beat him. I know Native Trail was just behind him, but he did run his race. It wasn't. If you take the winner out, it wasn't the greatest race, was it? No. And all of a sudden, he's got this great bit of placing from William Haggas. You've got to give it to him. But you look at the Australian form. Are the Australian horses any good at that trip? I mean, that's what I'm kind of thinking. You could take the chance. Like on official ratings, he's got a chance, but I don't like this horse, and to be honest, I'd rather have a match bet. West Wind Blows does beat him, actually, just on the basis that
that's not
you're guessing a lot more actually with Dubai Honor than you are with West Wind Blows. I don't particularly like backing horses that are coming from other jurisdictions at prices. Let's say he didn't run in Australia, he would be a 25 to 1 poke here, wouldn't he? Not a 10 to 1 chance.
Yeah, the form book doesn't lie, and this horse has had many, many opportunities at this sort of level in the UK, and he hasn't been able to do it. And I don't see any reason why he would suddenly improve 16 pounds on that Juddmonte performance and be able to win this. I really struggle to see that. And like you,
you talk about
yeah,
like a good, a Group 3 horse, isn't it? Really,
yeah, like you, I wonder how strong those races were. I really, really do. So we're against Dubai Honor, like you. I mean, if you can get these match bets or these plays, who's going to be third? I would think West Wind Blows. It is, there's no way it should be 2.5 times the price. Put it that way.
No.
Now we come to Emily Upjohn. Last seen, ridden by Frankie William Buick, because Frankie's on the naughty step. William Buick takes the ride for the Gosdens. Last seen winning the Group 1 Coronation Cup at Epsom. Very impressively. Beat Westover by a length and 3/4. Now, that was over 1 mile 4. So that's what do we think today? Back in trip, Judge.
Well, I think this interesting me. I'm just going to finish the West Wind Blows. Now, this a negative basically on the front two. And now you've got two choices. Now, you've got Emily Upjohn, will she pull? Because when she pulled in the King George, she pulled her race away. Now, if West Wind Blows goes slowly and does actually get her pulling, you wouldn't really want to be with her. And at the same time, if he goes quite fast, I'm a little bit concerned about Paddington's stamina, especially if they were to have the extra rain that was its forecast. So, if you look, end of the day, everything comes down to value, doesn't it? And the prices you think certain horses will be. I couldn't really split the two of them. So for me, I'd have to back Emily Upjohn at the prices, just because there's too much of a difference between Paddington and Emily Upjohn at the price at the moment. I was actually very impressed with her at Epsom. The turn of foot she showed when she went past Westover's like he was standing still. That won the race, if you like. And I don't think it was 1.5 miles pace that she won it from. She showed a turn of foot that day, and Westover couldn't get back to her. He's just a stayer. But she did show some decent speed. She'll handle any rain that falls, and also she has got a course and distance run, which is also quite useful. In fact, she does actually act on the course. So, when you're looking 13th away, Emily Upjohn, odds on Paddington, I'd have to be with Emily Upjohn out of the two. So for me, really, she's going to be my selection in the race.
Right, Emily Upjohn, Mike. Oh, by the way, quick aside, Paddington shouldn't mind any rain, should he? He always wears those wellies, doesn't he?
Oh, he loves the underfoot conditions.
Yeah, there you go. So, Emily Upjohn, very highly strung horse. It's very hard for me to forget the King George, one of the great blowouts, but especially because I backed to that day.
It was a race we got right side, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I just remember that I thought, oh my God, slow pace, small field. Now, Spencer, for all his critics, is many things, but daft isn't one of them. You can't tell me he hasn't been looking at that and thought, I can get one of these two beat if I clown around up front. Now, I said to you, I thought Ryan Moore might not want that. And he might get on with the race himself. But he might think, well, if we go stop-start and I look round and Buick's having his arms pulled out, I might go along with this. This is going to be an extremely tactical race, I think. My worry for her is not that she hasn't got the ability. I think a bigger field where she can be buried and brought through for a late run would be ideal. And I'm more concerned about the personality of the horse than the form, if you like. And for that, I'm against her in this small field. So not for me. And you'll never guess what my selection is going to be. Anyway, I'll ask you what you think of Paddington.
I can't bear it.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Yeah. What do you think of Paddington? There's only one left, so you might as well tell us.
Well, Paddington, I am a little bit not concerned. It's a bit flaky, the 3-year-old mile form, isn't it?
Well, we'll find out today, won't we?
Yeah, well, we will. Yeah. So, but once again, you're being asked to take odds on about horse that hasn't done the trip. If it does come up soft, you've also got the possibility of him having to go up in trip on softer ground. I know he handles the soft ground, but it does make stamina, a forte, doesn't it? If it becomes soft ground. We might be looking here at 3:14. It's probably good to firm. This is the trouble with the nature of with the weather forecast. But I just thought, look, he's like I said to you earlier on. I think at 10 to 11 each of 2, I might be swayed towards Paddington. But 13 to 8, Emily Upjohn, odds on Paddington. I just think that the gap between the two is too much. And when you've got the toss up, basically, you don't know how the tactics of the race is. The alternative is also to bet him running. So you'd be in a position after a couple of furlongs, if Emily Upjohn's pulling, you'd rather take slightly under the odds on Paddington, wouldn't you? And vice versa. You know, if she's settling well, you'd rather be on. But I've got at the end of the day, old idea for this is to bet beforehand. And I just think the difference between the two horses in price is far too much. And on that basis, I'd have to be with her. And she did show a decent turn of foot, like I say. I like Paddington. He's done nothing wrong. But he was winning a handicap. It's hard to believe. But, you know, early this season, back early this season, it's quite a few months ago now, he's winning a handicap off a 97. You didn't expect it to be a dual Group 1 winner. I don't think Aidan O'Brien did at the time. He wouldn't really be running them in handicaps, would he? But he's improving.
No. Yeah, he's probably the most improving horse in Europe. I mean, this is his fifth run as a 3-year-old this year, which you don't usually get that in the Eclipse. They've usually had a go in the Guineas and the Derby, so he really is battle hardened. Another key for me. Look, is this a race I want to get heavily involved in? No. Do I think Paddington will win? Yes, I think he will win. So 4 to 5. I've got to select him at that. Ryan Moore is riding absolutely brilliantly. He knows this horse very, very well. And that's another little thing in favour. And it's certainly not criticising Buick. But he doesn't know Emily Upjohn anywhere near as well as Moore knows Paddington. And she can be a monkey. Frankie says she's a brilliant, brilliant horse. But it's like a boiling pan. She's ready to rumble at any time. And it's going to be a test for Buick, whereas Moore knows every little single thing about this. He knows where to be in the race. I actually think this horse will benefit from going up in trip. If you look at its breeding out of the margin,
he certainly is shaped like it at a mile, isn't he? He has shaped like he wants 10 furlongs,
and that powerful finish last time at a stiff course like Ascot,
You know, you can't knock it, but the horses in behind are all, take Chaldean out, they're all much of a muchness, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that was a good yardstick to beat that, and I think today you might see a proper performance here. I think Moore will make his own running if he has to, whereas I think Emily Upjohn's got to be held up for that late charge. I think he might be clear and gone at the 2 pole, and it might be tough to reel him back. So, all things considered, with all the factors considered, I think Paddington will win. Is he the greatest value bet you'll ever have? Well, we'll see. If he wins by 6 lengths, you'll say 45 is buying money in the street. For what we know now, he's got to be the play for me. I think they're going to back this. I think the Coolmore, whatever, are going to back this. I think he could go off 8 to 13. But, so maybe get on now. I don't know. It's a very disappointing field, not in terms of its quality, in numbers. And I think the small field will play against Emily Upjohn. I think Paddington's got a lot in his favour today. And, you're right. He started off this year in handicaps. 4 o'clock, he could have won the Eclipse. It's an incredible improvement. And who knows where he could go. Next up, Juddmonte, the winner of this. So, good race.
Irish champion as well. That's going to be some race, isn't it?
Irish champion, yeah. So, I'm sure you've got a busy day, Judge, with the old club.
Very much so, mate. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Big Saturday, great meeting at Haydock. We're just talking off air then. Carlisle and Nottingham tonight. Leicester stage a good card. Of course, the rest of the Sandown card chock full of big field handicaps and group races. So get involved, Platinum, and I'll throw in that lucky at the link below, and we will reconvene, Judge, on Monday over on your channel, Judge Pottage.
Well, see if we can find... I won't be there this Monday.
Of course,
no,
of course.
Sorry.
Well, I'll tell you what then. On my channel on Monday, I'll do a little preview that you can send me anything you want me to.
Yeah, I will do. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, perfect.
Fair enough. We like to be fair here at HFC, Judge. So it's Paddington for me, Emily Upjohn for the Judge. Whatever you're doing, have a great day, and let's back some winners. And what do we say, Judge?
Be lucky.
Exactly.
Holdens, horses.